boys and girls, it's Mrs. Skinner. We're going to do reading for Wednesday, May 6th. Okay, we have been doing the I'm a Little Flower Pot song. If you look in your Wednesday section of this week's packet, you have this. Okay, you have this. Miss Skinner has the same one. Mine has a little bit of color on it. Okay, let's sing it. If you want, you can either follow along or you can just do the motions, all right? I'm a little flower pot Mom put out. If you take care of me, I will sprout. When you water me, I'll start to grow into a flower, don't you know? Okay, and there's a cute picture of some flowers. This is a great time of year to go outside and look at some real flowers because some of them are starting to bloom. I saw some really pretty daffodils blooming yesterday. Daffodils are one of the first flowers that bloom in the spring. And they come in different colors, but I usually see yellow ones the most. Sometimes white ones, but mostly yellow. Okay, on this paper, you are going to circle any sight words you see. Now, if you've forgotten some of your sight words, you need to look on that orange folder that you used to bring back and forth to school in your backpack. That orange folder, and your sight word list is in there. I believe it's on the back cover of everybody's orange folder. If it's not on the back, it's somewhere in one of those middle pages. Your whole list of sight words is in there. So if you need to review your list first and see which ones you know, that's fine. And then circle them on here. And then you have a super cute flower picture you can decorate any way you want. You can be as creative as you want with the flowers. The petals, the leaves, you can decorate the pot. Be creative with your little flower pot. Okay, let's talk about our vocabulary. Okay, soil. The word soil. The top layer of earth in which plants grow. In other words, it's the dirt. It's a fancy word for dirt. Seedling. A young plant. You can see that this plant is just starting to grow. It is a seedling. They sometimes call little tiny new trees saplings because trees have sap. So a baby tree is a sapling, a baby plant is a seedling. Pollination. The moving of pollen from one flower to another. And bees play a big part in this because they'll land on a flower and get that powder on them and then go to another plant. The moving of pollen from one flower to another. Now this time of year, some people have problems with their allergies because they are allergic to the pollen. Pollen is that powder, and when it gets in the air and people breathe it in, it affects their allergies. I usually do have problems with my allergies this time of year, but I haven't been going out much for the same reasons none of us have been going out much. So I haven't had my allergy issues this year, which is kind of nice. So that's one nice thing that's happening. Germination. The sprouting of a new plant from a seed. Okay, so when it starts to sprout, that's called germination. It doesn't mean that the plant has germs. It just is a word that means it's sprouting. It's starting to go, starting to grow. Okay, so we had germination, pollination, seedling, and soil. All of those have to do with our plants. Okay. Seed to Plant. We read this book the last couple of days. It's a non-fiction text, which means it's real. It's full of facts about plants. And you've probably noticed that most of our non-fiction texts use photographs instead of pictures. Photographs. Why do you think that the author, the person who made this book, decided that photographs were better than drawings? They could have just done this throughout the whole book with just a picture. But they didn't. They took pictures of real farm crops. They took pictures of real trees. They took pictures of real fruits and the seeds. Why do you think the author chose to do that instead of drawings? Well, if we were reading a book about talking dragons, would the author be able to use real photographs? No, because I have never seen a real talking dragon. Have you? No, I don't think anybody really has. So a book about talking dragons would be fiction, would be fake. An author can think that up in their imagination and draw pictures, but it wouldn't be a factual nonfiction text. This author used real photographs because everything she was telling us about was true. So she had real pictures of real fruits and real seeds. So she figured, why should I draw all that when I can just take a picture, because it's right in our world. These are things that are real, so she's able to use photographs. Okay? Do you think that's probably why she did it? If you have a different reason, that's okay too. Okay. Now, we've talked about features of a non-fiction text. One of the main ones, at least in this book and a lot of the books we've read, is a table of contents. It tells you what page, over here's the page numbers, to find certain pieces of information or topics. So if you only wanted to know about flowers, you might want to try page 18, because it says on page 18 the topic is flowers bloom. As you get older and you continue to go to school, you will have more and more books like this, especially for science and social studies. And you might not be able to spend all your time reading the entire book from cover to cover. So the table of contents will be helpful because you can find exactly what you're looking for. If your teacher says, do a report on pollen, you wouldn't want to start on page 4. But you might want to go down to page 20 because it says sticky pollen. So the table of contents can save you time. All right, another feature, big words on the top of a page, a heading, or maybe even a title. What is a plant? Why do you think the author put big words there at the top? Maybe the author did it to draw our attention, to catch our eye, so we could see that and say, what is a plant? Yeah, I want to know what's a plant. Also, we have labels. These little boxes with words that tell us what's in the picture. How are those helpful? What if we had these pictures without the labels? If we had those pictures without the labels, we wouldn't know what these things were called, would we? Unless we had a grown-up that could tell us. Okay, and Miss Skinner, honestly, if I would have looked at just that picture, I probably would have called it an orange tree. Because from the picture, I can't tell the difference between an orange and a tangerine. They look very, very similar. So I'm glad the author used the label, so I knew exactly what that picture was. Okay, all parts of a nonfiction text. Okay, so we've done our poem. Remember to circle your sight words. And we practiced our vocabulary and we looked at our nonfiction text. So that is your reading lesson for today. If it's nice, you could maybe go look at some plants outside. All right, see ya.